everyone. Welcome to LOCKBEARD Phenomena number 48. Bigfoot fence riders, you know who you are. You know who you are. Y'all need to stop it. Stop it. It's June 11th, 2022. I see Mr. Lee was first in the chat. Yeah. I just happened to, well, usually he won't let you get close enough to catch him. I probably could if I really wanted to, but I don't typically want to stress him out like that. If he don't want to really be caught. But in this case, he was pinned down by an actual duck that also has been staying here for, we don't even know where this damn thing came from. But it's been staying here anyway. So I saved the goose named Duck from the duck that's, I don't even know what his name is. So I brought him up here to the van and let him sit in my lap for a while, although he really didn't want to be there. But he couldn't. I can't imagine he wanted to be pinned down by that stupid duck, though. So anyway, and the subject of Canadian geese was on Joe's show the other day, so I figured, well, might as well let Duck the Goose make an appearance. But he's bitten me. Like I put my fist out at him, and he'll like reach out and like bite my knuckles, but they can't really hurt you. I don't know how some people feel like they hurt. They don't really. Maybe if they get you in a tender spot, I don't know. Same thing for snakes. Your typical non-poisonous snake that has such tiny teeth that yeah, they might draw some blood, but it doesn't hurt. Not really. So, it's not a big deal. Obi-Wan Kenobi, fantastic. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's people out there saying no, it's not. A few people saying it's good. I think you gotta be careful with this stuff. You may want so badly to see Obi-Wan Kenobi that you'll take whatever steaming turd they give you, right? So just try to keep that in mind when you're watching some of the new stuff. Are you going to like whatever crap they give you because you're just hungry for something to watch? Obi-Wan Kenobi. The stuff that I've heard about it don't sound good at all. So yeah. Is there anybody in there? You're going the wrong way? You're talking about going the wrong way. Sanders here. Welcome. No, you're not. It looks like Sandra was here. Angel's here. Welcome. Brent's here. Welcome. See who else. See now, like Top Gun. Brent said Top Gun was good, Mr. Lee, and I was reluctant. So I don't know what. I don't want to have to get no streaming service to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, I might take the time to look, because most movies and TV shows I absorb through watching all the clips that are available and spoiler reviews and that kind of stuff, and you can pretty much get the whole movie in that way. It's not the same as sitting down and watching it, but you pretty much get the gist of what the movie is from if you look at enough stuff. And So maybe I'll take the time to do that with Obi-Wan. It's just that what I've heard so far doesn't sound right. It's like, they're bending over. Sometimes they bend over backwards to make something, like make a story where there really one doesn't fit. Before we all knew that Obi-Wan spent all those years on Tatooine to protect Luke. And so now he's going on missions to go protect Leia. I mean, it's just what the hell? Let's see here. Chessboard's here. Welcome. Angel says if they get you in the butt thigh, it hurts more to pinch there than your knuckles. I imagine. I don't know. Like I've had like lots of roosters and hens and stuff peck me too, and it just doesn't. It's just a nothing. It's just nothing. And I think it's just a freak out factor for most things like that. People just, oh my gosh, it bit me. Well, so, But yeah, with those geese and those roosters, if one comes after you, you walk directly towards it. Do not retreat. Do not turn your back on it. You walk directly towards that bird. And if it keeps coming towards you, you keep going towards it until you can get a hold of it and put your hand on its back, push it down to the ground without hurting it, and hold it there. And it might peck you or pinch you, but you just kind of got to grow a set and deal with this bird, or this bird's going to keep thinking it can get away with attacking you. Mr. Lee says cryptid war is going on as we speak. Apparently, Lockbeard. Is it now a cryptid war? What do you mean, Brent? So Lockbeard, Brent said Obi-Wan Kenobi was good. Would you watch it then? Well, I'm not getting a streaming service to watch Obi-Wan. All I know is that a lot of people, like, because I saw some spoiler stuff beforehand, and then also some reviews by people whose opinions I trust, because they agree with me on the quality of many previous films, who were saying they actually did a good job with it. So, there was more than one opinion involved there. But why did this thing jump? On the outer rim, yes. What's on the outer rim? You're talking about Obi-Wan is starting off slow, hoping it picks up again. I do like how they are following the Leia storyline. Yeah, but I don't like that they're getting Obi-Wan involved with the Leia storyline. I don't like the sound of that at all. He's supposed to be on Tatooine looking after Luke. I had some ideas. I don't know where I jotted them down concerning shit going down on Tatooine, and because I think there's plenty of room to write in some stories that have happened over those years, and I think a skilled writer could certainly put together quite a bit of material where there's this constant battle to keep it secret that Luke's there. It's all going on behind the scenes, and Obi-Wan is just doing all kinds of stuff to just right on the edge, all the time on the edge. But instead, they're just going to just send him off to go deal with Leia. If you want to have a Leia story, well, have a freaking Leia story. She's somewhere else. And it doesn't have to be in Obi-Wan. Get you in the face. Yeah, how'd it get in your face? Dogman is winning. Oh shit! Who's saying that bullshit, Mr. Lee? Who is saying that bullshit? I think Mr. Lee might be one of those fence riders. Pick a side, Mr. Lee. Are you on the side that's interested in facts and logic? Or are you in the side that's going to eat up any kind of bullshit story that people are throwing around? You know, are you going to be, because I'm noticing people still being perfectly accepting to people like LIB when I showed you very clearly LIB is a liar and a thief. Like that's right there. And who knows to what extent of a bullshit artist he is. I mean, he claims they're talking to him in his head. Well, either he's crazy or he's lying, because I'm not buying into this mind speak shit until someone can provide one piece of fucking evidence for that shit. And no one can. No one has. And they're going to say, well, oh, this is something you can't prove with science. Well, then get the fuck out of here. I ain't got time to deal with this bullshit. Like, if you got some science that covers this shit, but don't come to me telling me this is some magic story, and then now you have a convenient excuse, right? It's magic, so you can't explain it with science. Fuck off. Everything can be explained with science. Once, like Kel, I've tried to like put you guys on the right path to like understanding the spiritual world through science. It's not a magical thing. I mean, it may seem magical to you, but it's not a magical thing. There's scientific explanation for this shit. It's just going to take you time to unlearn some bullshit you've learned in our society, and and understand how physics really works. Understand the ether. You're probably seeing, I don't know what it is. It's become a highway here. I got wasps and bugs of all kinds flying through here. This wasp here, he was trying to come through here with a freaking caterpillar. He just dropped his caterpillar. Poor thing. Oh, well. Tallman says Hayden Christensen isn't even really playing Darth Vader. It's played by a few different people. Well, that'd be keeping with the history of the thing. James Earl Jones was just the voice and so on. I don't know the guy's name that was actually in the suit at the end. Uncle Bones here. Did I miss him? There he is. Hey, Uncle Bones, welcome. He says, something on Angelica Larson's channel, but I can't get Telegram. Huh? I don't know what that's about. Brent says, I can't see about getting you a profile on my Disney Plus so you can check them out. LOCKBEARD. Oh, man, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Part of me is kind of scared to get sucked into a TV show. I don't have enough time for anything as it is. It seems like I've just got myself pulled in so many different directions. I need to get some more bee colonies. I need this to be a profitable business. And the bees I got are doing great. It's just I need more. Mr. Lee says, so now, Lockbeard, you don't trust me because I think new remake Tom Cruise Vanity Project not good. It ain't a matter of trust, Mr. Lee. I just disagree. I disagree with you. I think it's a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's not. I ain't saying it's a great movie. I'm not gonna, sing the praises of Tom Cruise. He's kind of that dude's fucking nuts. But setting aside who he is personally and just looking at, the movie, it seems like a good movie. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to put a little more testosterone on that shit. it seems like they might have not rubbed it on as hard as they did in the first one. Yeah, because there's a war on men today. You know, there's this whole segment of society who wants to destroy anything masculine about biological males. Now, if you're not biological male, they have no problem with you being masculine. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Like, okay, if you're a biological male, you're not allowed to be masculine. That's toxic. Kiss my fucking ass. Do what she does. Sub to Olympic Project. Angel says, I think LIB blocked me. Never see his comments. Yeah. If you ever said anything, like he thinks he's hiding from you. LIB or any of his little bitch snitches, which go ahead, go tell LIB. I don't give a fuck. Fuck him. The little bitch is hiding. See, he thinks he's hiding because he's got you blocked. Dude, I can go jump on my other account and see what you have to say, but most of the time I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck. You're so insignificant. I proved you're a liar with the help of others, because don't think I'm just doing this by myself. I've had a little help. And and what I saw I didn't like, and I thought other people need to see, because like Mr. Lee said, he's like, I never knew this stuff. Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I had to do it. I had to do it because if I didn't, you would never know, and you would keep thinking LIB is cool, when obviously he's not. And this mind speak, the real word is telepathy, which hasn't been proven at all. And again, my challenge to everyone, was it last week, to someone mind speak to me? If you're telepathic, you think someone in the world would sense this telepathically and say, hey, maybe I should tell this guy something telepathically and let him know that this is in fact a real thing, a real phenomena. Nothing. Also, any remote viewers out there have still failed to figure out what the object is, and since remote viewing is something that you're supposed to be able to do, like you're supposed to be able to look at any place in time as well as space. So I don't even have to put the object back where it was before. You know what I'm referring to? Do I need to give it a freaking coordinates? They say they have to give them a coordinates, whatever the fuck that means. You know what object? Because you know what I'm saying. If you're psychic, you know what I'm saying. There was an object that I placed here during that last show on an envelope here. I think it was sitting on the envelope. So you know the time and place. What was the object? If remote viewing's real, there's got to be one remote viewer that's the real thing that can tell me what the fuck that object was. Still waiting. There was a bunch of guesses. Nice guesses. At this point, someone's bound to just guess it just by chance at some point, I guess. You know what I mean? You just got to just keep guessing random shit until you get there. It's bound to pop up. Mr. Lee says, I just want the truth. Don't want to come down on no one. I have you to find that truth, Lockbeard. Well, cool. I mean, you don't have to come down on anyone. It's just that these people seem to be still accepted, in some of the more logical chats, people that I see in the more logical chats on the channels that seem to be trying to keep shit real. And you have these unreal fucks show up. I get it. Some people, like, you want to play nice, but on the other hand, I'm like, fuck this shit. We're at war. Are we serious about finding out the goddamn truth, or are we not? Because if we are, we got to stop dicking around with these people and tell them, look, you need to get the fuck out of here. You need to get the fuck out of here. If you've proven that you're bullshit, get the fuck out of here. We're not about bullshit over here. This is a whole different community. We're not part of that community of hoaxers and liars and thieves. Don't want any part of it. I want to know what the truth is of all the things that are unexplained phenomena. I want to know the truth. I've just gotten to that point that I found so much truth of so many subjects. I studied so many things in college. I was on campus for 11 fucking years before I felt that they had nothing to offer me anymore. The structure of the college classroom setting was just a hindrance at some point. It wasn't even beneficial. It has its shortcomings. There was plenty of good information to get there, and I'm glad I got a degree, but at some point it had to go to straight up independent study, because that's where you start digging up the real shit. The standard curriculum, the controlled narrative that you get from some of these areas is not going to cut it anymore. Otherwise, I'd just stay at a university. If the university I was at I'd run through all the curriculum that I was interested in, I'd have to go to a university with a bigger selection, right? But at this point, I feel like there's really no point, because certain subjects, it's just they haven't caught up to me, in my opinion, as far as certain specific points. Not that I'm an expert in all these fields. I'm just saying, like, I hadn't seen anyone call Neanderthals Homo sapiens and Neanderthalensis until after I had at some point. And because the moment I saw the data involving the DNA, I knew they were fucking wrong. And that really supported a whole avalanche of other stuff about anthropology. That's wrong, like Homo floresiensis. They're trying to say Homo floresiensis. They name it as if it's a separate species, but I guarantee you it's not a separate species. It's the same or it was the same species as us, or it could be because some people claim they're still out there, right? This small race of humans is still out there, but that's a whole nother thing. Mr. Lee says, what Mr. Pat was saying on his show about the government not being involved, not so. Yeah, that's the position he takes. That's his opinion, as he stated. I hope the fuck he's right, because that's an optimistic scenario for me. To me, I don't know if that's the word y'all are thinking, but to me it is. If the government has their head that far up their ass, we might actually have a chance in case of we're forced to defend ourselves from them. If you know what I mean. However, like I've said before, I don't think that's the case. I think that part of controlling the people and keeping them placated is making the people believe that the government is this bumbling, inept, thing that barely holds together. I don't think it really is. I think they want us to think it is, and so that's why maybe I didn't convey that very well on Pat's show. That's what I think people like Biden is there to do, to make us think that they're just retarded. That they ain't got their shit together, that they could possibly just the fact that they could possibly elect a guy who is just not functioning well enough to really live alone at this point. Like, he should probably have someone watching him. let alone run a country. Um, but I think, and then like someone like Trump too, and of course I'm gonna piss off both parties. That's it's just necessary. I mean, Trump, this guy, he's supposed to be this outsider, right? And like I've said before, he's not an outsider. He can't possibly be an outsider. You can't tell me that John G. Trump, the uncle of Donald Trump, was part of the government confiscation of Nikola Tesla's possessions. There's no fucking way. There's no goddamn way. It just ain't. It ain't possible. It ain't possible. Donald Trump's uncle confiscating Nikola Tesla's possessions. It's not possible. He's an outsider. So and then he's he's spouting off and saying all this crazy shit, and I think he was there just to be partially a distraction, partially to make us think our government is just a complete clusterfuck. They want us to think that they ain't got their shit together. Meanwhile, these guys, these presidents, they're not the ones actually running shit. They're doing what the fuck they're told by the people behind the scenes, the people really controlling things. So that being said, where he was making the point that he thought that Donald Trump would say that, to me, again, I may not have thoroughly expressed what my thinking is. Everything may not have come out, but because of what I think, right? Because I think Donald Trump was just there to be this distraction, this appearance of a loose cannon, the appearance of an outsider, because so many people bought it, right, that he was an outsider. The fact that he didn't spout off about Bigfoot could be looked at as a possible indication that that's one of the secrets that they want kept. It's important for some reason to keep that secret. No, so why? So why? You think he's one of the good ones to follow? Chris Spencer. Donald's here. You're welcome. He says, hey, folks, be home if you. We'll be back with you. Cool. Thanks for coming. Mr. Lee says they're just puppets. They are higher. Yeah, higher fuckers out there. Nikki says, Vandy. Yeah, he's. I don't know. Mr. Lee's always saying he's hanging out with Tom Cruise, so I don't know why he's being such a prick to him. She has been over before, about 5 years ago, I believe. This chessboard. Oh man, it's going to get. Tallman says, Lockbeard, you should post on Facebook about if there's a swarm out there on someone's yard. I've seen quite a few swarms removed from people's yard this last week alone. Yeah, I'm on like the bee groups and stuff, but I'm always, they're either too far away or, I just didn't see the post quick enough. There's some people, man, they're on top of it somehow. And then people that jack you around, like with that bee tree, which would have been a trap out, not a swarm capture. Anyway, that guy, man, he was jacking me around to the point I complained to the city about him. Apparently, he's part of a third party taking care of the sports complex. Anyway, and it's just like with the goats, sellers trying to jack me around with their goats and, trying to, I don't know if they're trying to trick you into buying something you don't want. When I tell you I want 100% registered, don't try to sell me 50%. You might be justified to talk to me about 50% if it's a doe. But when anyone asks for 100% registered buck, they don't want your piece of trash 50%. What kind of jackass is going to still try and talk you in, and then try to hide it, or like, oh yeah, that registered. Then they fail to mention they're only registered 50% because their mother is the only one that's registered, not the father. And so it's just people jacking you around. I'm sick of people trying to jack me around. Uh, that one says, hey, everyone driving and listening. Hope evening is well today. Thanks for coming, Bat Mom. Paul one says, people like LIB are a dime a dozen in the subject. Yeah. I'm sick of them. They're just muddying the water and slowing down any progress. Like, there's so many people out there that are otherwise very intelligent, but they've gotten sucked in by these con artists. And if they were putting their time and their effort into the right people, not wasting time watching channels like LIB, or even mine. I mean, what the fuck am I going to accomplish? I mean, mainly just bitching over here, right? X Gary. What? Might not have known he was stealing pics, but I could never see anything in his pics anyway. Yeah. That was kind of funny, because there wasn't like there was anything obvious in the pictures. I'm not saying there isn't anything in them, just saying I didn't see anything really. Chessboard says Angelica Larson is a beautiful little Swedish truck driver. Uncle Bones won something from. Oh, really? A little trip in her truck, maybe. Go on a little adventure. Jump his bones, maybe. What? Paul says, to prove mind speak, write a number on a piece of paper, tape it on the back of the person making the mind speak claim. Bigfoot can then mind speak the number to him. Yeah, something, And like I've said before, like I could possibly get on board with the whole idea that this is something we're not really supposed to be able to do, but we can to some extent. And it's like looking at something through a thick fog, so it's going to be hard to see it accurately. I can get that, but we're going to need some damn proof. We're going to need some freaking proof. There's got to be something they can do to show us. Squatching Cowboy, welcome. Gary Johnson says, I'm staying close so Lockbeard doesn't know I'm here. Well, he failed that. Welcome, Gary Johnson. We probably won't abuse you today. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, you must dig deeper. That's what Graham Hancock says. Well, I say that too. I tell people to look closer, dig deeper. But come on. Cryptid war. Any kind of, Mr. Lee, you're telling me there's a cryptid war involving Dogman, but we have no proof Dogmen even exists. So how do we know that the Dogmen are having a war when we don't even know that? Well, I think we can say pretty reasonably there aren't no fucking Dogman. It flies in the face of reason to even entertain that bullshit. Like, somebody better come up with some. That claim is so fucking ridiculous. Somebody better come up with a lot more evidence than Bigfoot. See, the claim of Bigfoot fits within the freaking evolutionary tree, Like, it's easy to see how it's not really that much bigger than us. Just a big hairy human. But you're going to tell me some kind of werewolf looking damn thing exists out there? You're going to have to come up with you're going to have to come up with a body. Even if you had as many claim sightings as Bigfoot, you're going to need a body even worse for Dogman because it doesn't fit within known biological science. So you done lost. You done lost. Gypsies, tramps, and thieves. Okay. Hello, Judy. I want to know the truth. Jack Nicholson told Tom Cruise, "You can't handle the truth. Can't handle it." It seems today most colleges are all about the social justice more than learning. Yeah, there's too much of that shit going on. That's true. Misacknowledge something, or you wouldn't have a YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm reasonably certain that Bigfoot exists, and that it's just a race of people, human. They're big, hairy people. Most likely explanation. The descriptions by the people that seem credible, people who seem credible are ones who don't tell crazy ass stories. They tell something fairly reasonable, like Jay and Joe do, where they basically just saw a big hairy guy hunting something. That's a pretty damn reasonable story, right? There's no portals, there's no fucking angels, there's no telepathy, there's none of that shit. It's a reasonable story that fits within plausibility, right? And those people who have those accounts, their description of Bigfoot seems to fit one thing really well. It has the what they see, the morphology is human. It's straight up human, beyond just Homo genus. Human. And yeah, so especially since, like I said, like the anthropologists thought Neanderthals were a separate species, and they were wrong about that. The Nosophians, and they were wrong about that. And if DNA becomes available, Homo floresiensis, Homo sapiens, subspecies floresiensis, that should be called. Very unlikely, I think, that they will get some DNA out of those. I really hope there's some of them still alive, so that one day we do get some DNA in a proper, humane way that doesn't violate their human rights, because they're human. Guaranteed, they're human. Can't prove that, but guaranteed they're human. I gotta really try to catch up here. Both sides have wrong people in position. Yeah. Chessboard says anyone into politics is there for themselves and their controllers. Yeah. Yeah, occasionally someone gets in, I think, that isn't. I think Ron Paul was the real deal. I think Jesse Ventura was the real deal. And so yeah, so they try to run you off. I think if you get too close to, like I think maybe Jesse Ventura knew that he was risking potentially getting if he pushed too hard. I think people, if a good person gets too close to the Oval Office, they're probably going to get eliminated. Daily Dan, welcome. Joe's here. Says I ain't never seen a Bigfoot riding a fence. Yeah, the wording there might not be quite clear. YouTube and all media, Facebook bad. Yeah, Mr. Lee. The media, right? Daily Dan says, I was just watching a movie called Swarmed about a bunch of killer wasps. Oh, shit. Whoops. I don't know what I just clicked. I clicked something wrong. hold on. I gotta jump over on the. Judy, did I like put you in timeout or something just now? I'm probably gonna bog down my timeout or something just now. Let me see here. I got a little wild with the clicker. Hopefully I did not do that. Judy says all puppets in the ownership, the Blaylock Street, and one more anyway. They own us humans. Yeah, the owners, as George Carlin said, we have owners. So 99.9% sure that it might be is out of the question. Might be what? Who are the right people, Lockbeard? Who are the right people? That's the question, right? That mom says, Mr. Lee, I'm always right, even when I'm wrong. It's a gift. Donald says, if anything, I think the government probably think we're goofs. Yeah, because most citizens are, right? Most citizens are, just not that bright. It's just a reality. Gary says, mind speaking one's mind is totally awesome thing to know that they are get to receive, like cool, but it's kind of scary to know one can handle such a thing. Awesome indeed. Taxpayers are enablers. Yeah. Mr. Pat is associated with some large Bigfoot groups, though, says Mr. Lee. Don says, I thought you would be talking about whatever that zoo put out. Well, I mean, I was thinking about it, but we talked about it on Pat's. Like, I don't know, like there's nothing there, and that's just the point that's just the point, right? That's the only point to make about it, that there's nothing there. Why is everybody getting excited about it? Brent says there's a medical condition called schizophrenia where people hear voices in their head. Yep. Mr. Lee's telling me to catch up. Joe says Dogman is as ridiculous a postulation as the Earth being flat. It just isn't so. Yep. Agreed. That's paranormal. Brent says, starting to think you're part of the Dogman cover up, Joe. Says Brent. Mr. Lee has a medical condition. You might, Mr. Lee. Grasshopper's here. Welcome. He says, I didn't get beat when you started tonight. Well, I don't know what the proper terminology is. I didn't initiate the stream until 15 minutes before start time. So that might have held things up. It wouldn't have been that late if my computer didn't, sometimes something gets hung up and it just shuts itself down. So I had to restart. Big words. Joe has big words. It's chessboard. Also, Dogman became popular after the Twilight movie. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it contributed to it because, especially since they made it into that dog turns into a sexy hot dude, right? So now you got all these chicks fantasizing. Well, I assume, Twilight was kind of a chick flick. Angel says, Joe, I think some mistake a bear for Dogman. Absolutely. That's probably what some of them are. People have no freaking idea what a freaking bear is. Doesn't mean a thing. Sure, it might not be worth checking it out. There are two angels. Proof. Proof it to me, Gary. Prove it. I think there's room scientifically for some kind of entity to exist. However, I haven't seen proof of them. You know, we kind of need to prove that shit. Will you come with me? Wire Mess and Rebar Detective says, hello, people. Subbed Lockbeard. Thank you. Welcome. First time to the stream. Wire Mess and Rebar Detective. Mr. Lee says he's looking for proof. Daily Ann says, when I saw something bigger and hairy, it was simple. I was in the woods. I looked up on a hill. There was a giant man ape. It roared. I shit, and I ran away. I was 11. Yeah, pretty simple. No crazy stuff. No portals. No. The spaceship wasn't dropping him off. 3 years later, I saw something again. Tim Boy's here. He says, Lockbeard, my intro, please. Really? All right.
Oh, level out, come on.
I don't know how long you've been. What time is it? I'm about 6 minutes behind, it looks like. Batmom says, Batmom says, guys, I was thinking, crap, I haven't seen any bees. So weird. Then I got home, looked to my right, and there was a bee in my car. Yeah. You had it on your mind, so you noticed them. You probably don't notice them a lot of times if you're not thinking about them. Let my schooling interfere with my education. Yep. Yeah, you got to be careful. Like, you got to think outside the box. Not so far. Just the whole, like, the open mind. Don't have your mind so open, your brain falls out. But you got to always kind of keep a little bit of a thought in your head, no matter what you're learning, that they might, something might be an incorrect interpretation, or maybe there's more data needed. Sometimes the conclusions aren't correct, and they find out eventually. That's how science eventually finds out it's wrong on some things. But like quantum physics is going to be blown all the fuck. The only thing I can figure, I don't how the hell they're still stuck in some of the ridiculous thought processes they have. It's got to be a conspiracy, right? It's got to be they don't want people to know how the universe actually functions. It's got to be, because this whole wave particle duality nonsense. This everything's got to be broken down to the tinier and tinier particles. Ridiculous nonsense. It's holding people back. It really is, because they're not thinking about their world correctly. Joe says, I've decided I'm not going to say much more about those with fantastical claims. They can't prove what they claim, but then they can't prove what I claim either. So I'm not going to sit in a glass house. Oh, you can't prove what you can? Well, I mean, you can. You can. The problem is when you do offer a piece of proof, they will come up with the claim, and it's only a claim, that there's something wrong with your proof. They won't accept your proof. So that's how like, it's pointless. You're right. It's pointless to argue with them, because you can provide perfectly good proof all day long, and they will just not accept it. They'll just always not accept it. Like what we mentioned on Pat's show with the guy in the debate over in a modern day debate channel, when he was confronted with the length of the day in the country of Chile. His response to dealing with that, because he couldn't defeat it, right? He couldn't defeat the piece of evidence that the Earth is a globe. So he just denied the existence of the country of Chile. He said, I've never been there. I don't know that it's there. The Chile's there. That's the best they can do, is just deny, deny, deny. Claim everything's a conspiracy. The moon landing's a hoax. All this crap. Dogman isn't real. Yep. Mr. Lee, yeah, you gotta come up with some kind of evidence. I just haven't seen anything that can be credible at this point. He was spot on, and didn't he die mysteriously? Who? Yeah, George Carlin. I don't know if it was mysteriously. I tell you what, George Carlin should have been president, though. We would have fixed so much bullshit. Beast of Bray Road stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, it goes back centuries if you think about werewolves and stuff like that. It's or even some people like the people that claim, oh, Dogman must be real because the Egyptians carved this jackal headed dude on the wall. Well, that's not proof of shit, but they think it is. But anyway, I mean, the idea of the something resembling this Dogman or a werewolf, it goes back a long damn way. Doesn't mean there's a real thing, you know. It's kind of like when people bring up, the native tribes said this, this, and this. Yeah, they said that, but they also said that the world is on the back of a gigantic turtle. So don't take it as gospel. There might be some kernels of truth in some of the lore, sure, but don't take it as like scientific evidence because it just isn't. It just flat out isn't. Proof. I'm going the wrong way. What are you talking about the wrong way? Thomas said, Joe, you might want to call them dog people. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to assume their gender. Heart problems. Yeah. Spain. Fine. Poop skipper size is tough, but carrying his doggy bag is pure murder. Oh shit. Well, that sucks. Life is a flyaway. Welcome. You're welcome. I'm trying to catch up to the chat here. I don't know. You become very skeptical now, Mr. Lee. Timmy Boy says that's a good thing. Judy says, yes, particles. That's what I've seen lately. What do you mean that's what you've seen lately? Because it's a cult. Like the quantum physics cult of what Kim Wheeler calls them, the cult of bumping particles. But it's a cult. It is a cult because they believe something that isn't proven. Even up to electrons. Like there's no goddamn electron particle flowing through a metal wire. It's just not fucking what's going on there. There is something happening there, and you could still refer to that thing as an electron all you want, but it's not a damn particle. For some, but they've already started trying to bend the definition of particle to try to save face. They're trying to save face. They really are. Because they keep getting closer and closer to with scientific evidence of the ether. So they got it. Quantum foam, space time, all these things, dark matter, dark energy, fucking. What am I? I'm losing a word right now. But anyway, they got all these different things referring to these different observations they made, and they failed in their interpretation of what all this fucking means. At the end of the day, it all comes back together. Ether. It's the goddamn ether. The ancients were right. Our ancient ancestors were very, very, probably smarter than us, really. Because they fucking knew. They fucking knew. And, I talked about before, like it's almost undeniable. It's almost undeniable looking at what they've left behind that they had anti-gravity technology. There's no fucking way they built all this shit without anti-gravity technology. What blaze right into your intro request? Who? Oh, yeah, Donald probably needs his intro. Life says once you've eliminated all the possible whatever is left, no matter how improbable, it has to be the truth. Quoting Mr. Spock there, and probably, well, I don't know where the quote probably originates somewhere else. I don't remember, but yeah. Some Donald. What in the hell? Yeah. The Guardians of Anubis. 10 boy, please tell me I'm going to get in. Get in where? Get in. You've been in, Mr. Lee. What are you talking about? Joe says if there was at least some biological precedence that made a dogman a slight possibility, I would consider it, but there is none. No canine species has ever evolved to be bipedal. Yep. But see, I mean, the people making these claims, they just don't have any science about them whatsoever. You know, anyone that has studied some biology, at least, I would think, hopefully, would be immune to this whole dogman crap. But you can't be immune to Bigfoot because it fits perfectly. There's no reason why a slightly bigger version of humans couldn't be out there, especially looking at our intellect and considering that they will have a comparable intellect, if not better. You know, and being able to understand that just because somebody is there, a group of people is smarter doesn't mean they're going to be leaving a bunch of landfills and roads and big buildings. It might be smarter to live off the land as nature intended, which I think there's a lot. I think people are starting to figure that out. All of our technology, all these things make us soft, less survivable. It has negative biological consequences for us, and psychological. It's bad for our psyche. Daily Dan's the good stuff says if the world is a giant turtle, I live near the ass end. Yeah. Took a little bit of short video today because I go to Broken Arrow on a regular basis. So I went up there today and there were some turtles on the road, so I stopped and picked them up, and one of them has been injured. It wasn't smashed by a car, but I don't know if maybe the car caught the feet, the back foot, or whatever. Anyway, one of her back feet is just mangled, and then her ass end is there's something wrong with her ass end. I don't know. It had to be a car. It was a fresh injury. It's just amazing that she's still alive and her shell wasn't cracked. And she was a very large box turtle, and I went ahead and let her go. She seemed to be able to crawl around fine. It's just that back foot was so fucked up. Oh man, it was hard to look at. I mean, if I had like a turtle pen set up, maybe I would keep her for a while she healed, and you know. Donald says, I still want to know if Dogman have litters and multiple teats. Well, I mean, gonna have to find a female, a dog woman. See if she's got, you know, 4 or 6 or 8 breasts on her. Have to give me something to start with at least. Yeah, something. Farticles. Okay, Ruthless. That's how you want to enter. All right, bring it. I should say some real to start with. Daily Dan says, have Joe ever seen a movie, The Island of Dr. Moreau? Maybe Dogman is a result of genetic research. Well, and that's what some people are trying to use as an excuse for Dogman's existence, right? Yeah, because I've seen them saying this stuff. You know, people who I think realize that, yeah, it doesn't fit within the phylogenetic tree, um, at all. There's just nowhere, anytime you discover an animal, you make a few observations, or a plant, or even a fungus. You make a few observations of its morphology, and you can almost certainly figure out kind of where it fits in the tree, right? Genetic sampling, of course, will figure out exactly, but usually you can figure out, like, you find something that's got canine traits, well, it's canine, right? Feline, it's feline. If it pops out of a shell, it's turtle, right? I mean, you just know pretty easily with some things. A little easier than for some things than others, but yeah, I'm not buying it though. I'm not buying it. Timmy says, guys, I gotta go. Don't cry. I'll see y'all next time. Love y'all. Thanks for coming, Timmy boy. There can be only one. Am I catching up at all? I should have said something real, says Joe. Blasted. Donald says, what happened to Mank? Did he give up because we weren't listening to his narrative? I think so. He was probably just trolling. That's the only thing I figure. Why would he come here? Nobody wants to hear his shit. One day he came around about the one and only, would you fall down to your knees and cry like a baby? Haha, Mr. Lockbeard. Gary, you believe in something, you just got to prove it, that it's a real thing, and I don't see any evidence for it. What I do see is, when you study religious history, you see how religious systems, they evolve just like life forms do. You start up with this one, and then there's a disagreement in there, and things happen, and they'd split into two, and then those two go in their separate directions, but then they might fight, some more later, but and then they might divide some more. So, like Judaism. Well, the next thing you know, some people said, well, the Messiah has been born. And then next thing you know, so now you got two different. You got the ones that believe the Messiah has been born, and the ones that don't. And they don't get along very well. And then there were further splits. And so here we are, centuries later, and we got, you know, Muslims and Christians as two major, classifications, who hate each other. But anyone that's studied world religions enough and is open minded can see that Muslims and Christians are basically the same fucking thing in the big picture, right? Yeah, they got some very specific differences, blah, 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 but they're basically the same goddamn thing. And then, of course, the Muslims are split up to, into further debate, Sunni and Shiite, and the Christians over here, they're split up. You got the Catholics, and then, the Protestants over here got so many damn denominations. It's crazy. And that's just like biological evolution, right? You start out with one species, and some kind of factor causes the split into two species, and then those two each split into other species, and you can trace back the characteristics in the documents, right? The documents being basically the DNA of the religion, of the ideology. Culture's the same way. Everything evolves in some fashion. It's very interesting. Anyway, prove your God exists, because There's a bunch of people got different gods say that I should believe they're God, but whatever. Life says one man built the Coral Kingdom, the Coral Castle. Nobody knows how. The quote is from Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, but his stuff doesn't seem remotely like he could have done that. The stuff that he did, he could have done with levers and pulleys and counterweights, and it's nowhere near the megalithic structures, true megalithic structures. It's interesting, but it's synthetic skin. I'll pass. I'll pass on synthetic skin. Judy says, I've seen some biology on that we came out of the water. You mean like when animal life first went on the land? Yeah. Doppler says, hey, Ruthless, was thinking your green face was Carrie Arnold's pareidolia squatch. Special, very special. Joe says, Gary, you talk a heck of a game, but I like you. I can't get into what you say sometimes, but you come up with some gems. I don't know what you're talking about there. I have never eaten a dog, man. What? Michael's here. Welcome. They're using live skin on robots now. So they're basically making cyborgs. That's yeah, whatever. Danny, is complicated, but study DNA and genetics and you will understand why it isn't possible. You're talking about the genetically cooked up idea of Dogman. There's some fun sci-fi with that kind of shit going on in it. Kind of a sequel TV show to the Tremors movies. Burt Gummer is the main character, with who he was pretty much the best character anyway. Yeah, even though he wasn't always the main character, he's just been really important to the whole franchise, and so he's the main character in the series. And in the series, the government has come up with this substance they call Mixmaster, so they can combine the DNA of any organisms to create some new thing of And so the series about them having a lot of it's about them having to fight, shit that has to do with the Mixmaster that got released. And also the town living with El Blanco, the white graboid. So it's kind of cool. They actually save El Blanco at some point. They have to medicate him. Daily Dan says, I believe no matter how crazy something sounds, it's always in the realm of possibility. Oh, man, I don't know. How about pink unicorns farting glitter? Is that within the realm of possibility, I guess? Because Dogman's about the same for me. Fur makes YouTube. You feel for the Manx on the YouTube? Mr. Lee says, Lockbird, you may be reptilian. No. No. Prove it? Prove what? Prove that I'm not a reptilian? Like I haven't caught up to where you're at chat wise here, so you kind of have to you know Like when you say, like you make a comment right there by itself that just says prove it. I don't know what you're telling me to prove. Like, say it there. Like, Lockbeard, prove this fucking thing, whatever the fucking thing is. Because I don't know what you're talking about there, Mr. Lee. Said synthetics. The Queen says she's reptilian. She never said she's reptilian. Somebody said she is, but that somebody's just making shit up. Isn't organic. Joe says, but Danny, my bro, there are things that aren't possible. Me sprouting wings tomorrow and flying off to the bunny ranch, for example. His hands are too big. Definitely reptilian. Mr. Lee. Daily Dan says, in some parallel universe, Joe just grew wings, and flew away. Oh, shit. Donald, I've been smoking since I arrived, says Mr. Lee. Going rabbit hunting at the bunny ranch, says Michael. Those ain't rabbits. It's cold where you're at. Wintertime in Australia. Gary says to what I believe is take it away. Not even you, Mr. Lockbeard. Good try, though. I can't really respond. I don't understand. Your sentence structure is all jacked up. Like, that's part of the problem trying to understand what you're saying, Gary. Like, write a correct sentence so we can understand what you're saying. Japan developing sex bots unparalleled. Yeah, they're doing that shit. Yeah. If they put real skin on it, they might as well just go put a real vagina in it. Throw a womb in there, and then those Japanese guys can just have, women with robot brains. Mr. Lee says, Lockbeard, do a show to debunk flat Earth nonsense. It's rubbish. Yeah, it's rubbish. I really need to. Everybody can just go over to Professor Dave's channel. Watch Professor Dave do that shit. He specializes in it. And the funny thing is, the flat earthers just never fucking understand that they just got their ass handed to it. They just don't seem to get it. Like, you lost big time, hard. They'll actually brag, oh, yeah, we told them. No, you didn't prove shit. Morons. Flirts are rather sad, says Ruthless. Life is a flyway, shrugs. We're all interested in the big hairy guy that the vast majority says does not exist, and having experienced so many different things, what's one more? Well, one fits is reasonable as a reasonable claim, and the other one is not. Claiming that there is a large hairy race of people hiding in the woods is an entirely different thing than claiming there is, pink unicorns running around in the woods farting glitter. And that's about where Dogman's at, because it doesn't fit within known biology at all. And it seems, and what further would support this, the conclusion that it's bullshit is that werewolf movies always seem to spark more interest in this bullshit, this Dogman bullshit, right? People want to live out the fantasy of their favorite movies. Fraggle Rock. Daily Dan says, my daughter's birthday party was pink unicorn hanging from a tree. Some kid hit it with a stick, and candy and glitter flew from it. Found a doozer hole. Draconians, Palladians, what horse shit? Yeah. I mean, they dream up all kinds of shit. Like blue avians. They were talking about that. I'm like, isn't it funny how all these aliens you guys claim you see pretty much look like a human in a suit? It's like they can't even think, beyond, your standard Star Trek. Every alien is a humanoid with a different wrinkle on its head, for or spots or something. It's just like that's a TV show, and it's a necessity for being able to depict these aliens, that they be basically humanoid, and special effects, makeup, all that stuff. If you're just gonna make up some damn aliens and say you're a part of some alliance and I have encountered all these different alien species and I know all this stuff, I'm so damn important. Might as well invent some really cool looking aliens, right? They don't got to be humanoid. They don't got to be a damn humanoid that looks like it's like bird. It's just coldest in 100 years plus there. You can send some of that up this way because it's too hot here. Yeah, it's too damn hot here. Kushtaka. You heard about the Kushtaka? Can transform himself into many animals. I never heard of that, Mr. Lee. What's a Kushtaka? Let's see. Oh, it looks like it's on Land Otter Man. Mr. Lee, what in the fuck you got me looking at here? Kushtaka, land otterman, are mythical shape-shifting creatures found in the folklore of the Tlingit peoples of the Pacific Northwest coast of North America. They are similar to the Watsa of the Tsimyan people. Natina. What the hell? We're dealing with a lot of Native American words here that I'm probably butchering all the shit. Physically, Kushtaka are shapeshifters capable of assuming human form, the form of an otter, and potentially other forms. In some accounts, a Kushtaka is able to assume the form of any species of otter. In others, only one. Accounts of their behavior seem to conflict with one another. Cruel creatures that take delight in tricking poor Tlingit sailors to their deaths. In others, they are friendly and helpful. This is probably a lot of bullshit, Mr. Lee. Oh, let's hear. Legends have it Kushtaka can be warded off through copper, urine, dogs, and in some stories, fire. They mainly prey on small children. It's been thought by some that it was used by Tlingit mothers to keep their children from wandering close to the ocean by themselves. Yeah, I'm gonna call bullshit on that one, Mr. Lee. Yeah. Joe says Gary Lockbeard isn't trying to make you not believe what you believe. He's just saying if you want him to believe it, he needs proof. Yeah, you believe what you want, Gary. I would like you to use proper sentence structure, though, because you're killing me, man. I mean, I can decipher only so much, and then it just gets like it gets to be so bad I don't want to read what you say at all. Daily Dance says a robotic woman would be awesome, long as I could program her. Yeah, that's totally like happening, you know. And so that's going to create a whole nother. Well, that's a whole nother subject, man. It's going to be a catastrophe for humanity. Rutha says the next big thing will be Cosmic Egg and Martin Kinney disclosure idiocy. You speak Gary, so you translate it. Seven realms your ass. Bertha says, Grasshopper says, robot woman, great, long as she doesn't talk. Yeah. Yeah, though. A little bit. Why are you asking about Wicca? People don't fathom birth defects, dogman cryptids. Fucking stupid. Yeah. The science fiction first came along in a book in the science fiction first came along in a book in the 1600s, written by some chick. Chessboard says, Mr. Lee, you do know some folklore was proven fact. Occasionally, but usually folklore is proven to be complete bullshit. I'm going to guess that the Otter Man is bullshit, probably. Life says, comes Dogman, not bothered by it. I think it comes mainly from that confessed hoax 8mm film. However, I'm open-minded. Mr. Lee says, apparently the aliens are among us. Are they? Ruthless says, oh, y'all going to get drought there, Lucky, it seems. Absolutely. Well, who knows? Hopefully it dries out. It keeps fucking raining here. Like this road, like we've had, I think, higher than normal rain. Like the down the road here, like I've had to go around to get out because it's the water's come up over the road twice in the last month, and like took out the fences on both sides of the road, and I mean, luckily the road itself didn't wash out, but it could easily happen at some point. We're supposed to get our main bit of rain, a little earlier in the spring, and it should be getting kind of dry at this point, but it is not fucking dry. It's a hot, muggy bitch, is what it is. Now, it's not raining today, but I wouldn't mind a little bit of something, some clouds covering that sun or something. Or summer will be flooding. Yeah, if it keeps raining around here, we might have some, because we had some people's homes were destroyed, and it's just don't be so. Joe says, don't be so open-minded. Your brain slips out of life. Hanging around for a long time. La Nina, sun is active. Daily Dan says, the closest I've ever seen to a dogman was a large mutant-looking wolf caught on camera on Danny's station channel. Yeah, and that may be what some people. Yeah, even if a regular roof, wolf. A lot of people, they're not connected to the wildlife. They've never seen like things like wolves, right, in person. So when the day comes that the city slickers see a real wolf, they might think they saw something, some kind of monster. Barf. that is the only real dog man. Whatever this shit people are seeing is werewolves. It's like what I really don't like the word dog man. It's stupid. It's a goddamn stupid word. Obviously, what we're seeing, what they're describing, looks exactly like the werewolves of legend. So why don't they just call it a fucking werewolf? Why is it Dogman and not a werewolf? So on YouTube. Life says, I don't say much, but when you've experienced oddities I have definitely firsthand, it makes you a bit more receptive, I guess. Joe says, I see how this is going. When do we get to the part about some invisible sky daddy, bippity boppity booed everything into existence with some magic words? Yeah. This is a difficult one to crack. It really is. I remember when, because I was raised religious, and anytime anyone came at me, I didn't respond well. I think I responded worse than many people do. And I attribute that to just being a side effect of the fact that it's brainwashing, right? It's brainwashing. The churches brainwash you. So, you know, and you're supposed to, right? You're not supposed to accept challenge. This is like like Pat always says, cherished belief. Um, so trying to convert someone away from their religion is really something you shouldn't even try to do, I think. I had to walk that path myself. And if someone is capable of walking that path, they will in their own time. And they probably should just be left to do so in their own time. And, these atheists that go after them viciously, because I see that a lot online, like, you're not helping things. So, any atheists out there where you're attacking religious people, you need to stop. You're not helping things. You're acting just like a religious fanatic when you do that. So, yeah. Joe says, "Did I say the last thing out loud?" Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep. Catastrophe. Um, Toast and Vegemite. Get the fuck out of here with Toast and Vegemite. Joe said bippity. I saw it. Yeah. Am I looking it up? What do you mean? Is that like Dread Cat Radio Michael? What? Larf. How many guesses Ruthless have? 2? Uh-oh. You're a cat? You're a cat person? Oh, man. I don't know if I can deal with that. Hopefully you got a dog. Sheba the Shadow, Marble Gray Tabby, and a Black. Cats make me happy, he says. Uncle Bone says, Ruthless, I got me some cold cuts. Too damn hot to eat. 106 Fahrenheit. Damn. Pretty hot. Ruthless got it hotter than I do. They had to call it Dogman because Universal trademarked Wolfman. Hilarious. Donald says, so true about the city slickers. For instance, Joe not being able to identify fireflies left my ass out. Well, he said they were white. So that's strange. They're usually a chartreuse color, as somebody put it, a greenish color, greenish yellow. Mr. Lee says there's 5 here. 2 are mine, 2 doggos, and a duck as well. They all friends. It's like a farm, says Ruthless. Joe says, okay, Donald, did I say I liked you? LOL. Fan and fanatic. Mr. Lee says, Ruthless, oh, I knew it. You a cat man. Vegemite sounds like some vegan nonsense, man. It should be burned with fire. Well, I was going to show you guys a little clip. Joe says, that's all right, Donald. I've spent a lot of my life outdoors in the forest, but I admit to being slightly afraid all the time. All right, let's check this out. interesting little thing involving a hoax, which we talked about this hoax before.
Here he is. This is how. His hair's a little mess. Can you tell me how this got over here in Kentucky? I know it's originally occurred in Georgia.
Yeah, well, you know the story did.
Yes.
The gentleman made a hoax.
Yeah.
Started in northern Georgia. Tom Biscardi, searching for Bigfoot, bought it. And $50,000. They had a press conference in California, and everything was done there. But in the end, Tom bought it, and his son TJ and their group searching for Bigfoot went to Georgia, picked it up. There's a film called Anatomy of a Bigfoot Hoax that shows you that whole story of them retrieving it. So they get it, and it was in the freezer, frozen, solid ice over it, and as they began to thaw it, of course, they caught on that it was fake, and it was stuffed with animal parts, and that's that story, you know, when Tom announced it, that it was a hoax, it was a suit, and after it was all over, TJ, the son, thawed it all out and basically unceremoniously rolled it up, threw it in the truck, and at the time he was living in Middlesbrough, and he brought it back here, and when he left Middlesbrough, when he moved away, he hid it somewhere. And it stayed there for 9 years. And when they came through town last, they come here periodically to the region. We did an event with them at the museum. And just as an afterthought, TJ mentioned, hey, I still got the suit. Would y'all want that? And of course we did. And that's how we got it. And this is the first time, well, our acquisition of it is the first time it's ever been displayed. If you notice the newspaper, all they ever had were like clips, small photos, not even a full photo. And so this was the first time in all of that it was ever shown, not only to the public, but even the press.
Awesome.
And he's still a little smelly. You know, you can imagine.
Shoved with animal guts and frozen.
Yeah. And you can probably tell when you're close like that he is sort of makeshift. He's been cut apart, and you know they actually had a horse head in the head,
Really?
so that the tip in the tongue was showing
like that
they
it's
actually
a horse.
cut it here. They've actually cut it there, and if you ever see the film, you'll see it. You will see the mouth and the tongue hanging out, and the eyes were big eyes. Which now he has no eyes. And then the premise that they used was that they found it already shot, and then it was dead by a creek bank, and they just figured out a way to get it back to their homes.
Yeah.
And here's a hole. See, my hand goes in the hole right there. And out of that was what turned out to be possum intestines.
Wow, what a project.
Right. So even when they got the DNA test back of the intestine, because they were able to get to that. Remember, it's still frozen. They're following FDA or they're following the guidelines, the federal guidelines. You can't just thaw a body out.
Yeah.
All that's toxic, and it's all going somewhere. So they were really trying to follow that in the beginning, and eventually they just said, put some heat lamps on it. Let's thaw it, because they realized they were hoaxed.
Yeah.
But at first, when they tested the intestines, the DNA came back as possum. And Tom even asked the DNA people, well, is it possible that this creature had eaten a possum recently, and that's what you're picking up because it is intestine? And they said, absolutely. So he still had hope.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, But alas.
We got a little bobcat down there.
Yeah, we thought that was prudent or proper, if you will, because how many times in your life, if you're from this area or from the Appalachians, have you seen a bobcat?
Never.
Really? Now, see, I've seen one in my entire life, maybe twice. And in fleeting. Once, one of those 2 times in my entire life was with the Searching for Bigfoot crew, and they came to town and they were doing some research on Bonnie Mountain. And we went up there, you might have saw it, made the news, and we took Caleb No with us. And we were out there where the mine shafts are, the air vents. And we were up on top of this mountain, and on our way out of there the next morning, because or 2 days later, rather, we stayed out there, camped out, and it was early in the morning. We saw Bobcat, and I mean, it was just a flash as it ran through across the road in the woods again. And only 2 times in my life, we all know they're out there. And I think that's a valid point. I don't know if something like this does exist or not, but I don't think the idea where people say, well, we would have seen it. I don't think that's necessarily true because, like the bobcat, and there's other creatures that no one ever sees.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got some more interesting items in there.
Check
Back
out
to the
this folk art
museum.
Here. This is really cool.
Mr. Lee says, what? What are my beliefs? I believe everybody should worship me. Donald says,
And yes, every southern tourist attraction in a museum needs to have a moonshine still.
hold on a second, I'm having trouble with the chat.
Check out this monstrous hair curling machine. It looks like something Dr. Frankenstein would use to curl hair.
Nothing you're afraid of, Frosta was going to F you up. It would have happened when you messed up his hunt. Yeah.
Crater
Welcome,
from
Jen.
a meteorite. That's crazy.
Yeah, the town, I guess, is in a crater.
Oh, check out the squirrel. Look at those guts. Bigfoot guts. Okay. These are the Kentucky prints that Searching for Bigfoot had found. Basically, what they wanted to do is they give us everything they find in the state. So these are from Western Kentucky and down around Mammoth Cave. These, the funny ones, are actually female. And evidently, the way it's been told to me, female footprints are super rare. At one time, these were the only ones in existence. And now, if you look, there's probably more. And I think TJ and Tommy and them, they have more, right? But these, if you notice, there's a big difference. This looks like your stereotypical, what you think of as a Bigfoot footprint, right? Don't these seem, I don't know, they seem like lizard man-ish. I don't know, they're different, right? See the elongated big toe? Yeah. They're very long and thin, right? And this is hair samples, and it's just unidentified. It's not that it is Bigfoot hair, but it's unidentified hair sample. And a lot of times when they find this unidentified hair sample stuff, it comes out that they can't really tell. It gets confused. It's like, is it man? Is it primate? And that's what they're looking for, is that one that seems to have these markers in it that are unexplained. And that's why this stuff, the kids love it. This is how they bake Bigfoot supposedly. Evidently, well, he likes shiny stuff, and then glow sticks too, and he eats sardines and peanut butter. Wow. And the can, if you notice the can on the string, what they do is they take this can on the string and they tie it to a branch, totally out of reach from all animal and all man, right? Really high up on a branch, away from the tree. And the idea is you spread the peanut butter on it, some sardines, things like that, and he'll come and eat it. He's also known to give gifts according to them. So say he came and ate your peanut butter and he thought that was really good, he might leave you a robin feather.
It's always amazing. Mirror.
Yep. Anyway, that's on the Carpet Bagger channel. So give him a shout out. Michael says, I spent a lot of time in the outdoors too. My parents wouldn't let me in the house. Yeah. Something that make you paranoid out there. Better to be prepared, says Grasshoppers. Chessword says, Johnny asked Dad, what are those dogs doing? Dog said the dog in front has hurt paws and the other is helping him home. Johnny, just like humans, try to help them and they will fuck you every time. Huh. Yeah, I imagine it is. They stuffed it full of guts. Daily Dan says, yea, though I walk through the valley of Sasquatch, I have no fear because I hath my 44 Smith & Wesson to comfort me. Yep. Cheese Freaks here. Welcome. Grasshopper said, daily I always have my 9mm at least, something, sometimes my 12 gauge. I don't know. Whichever one's in a crater. Joe says, I'm still going to be cautious if I ever see him again, Donald. I think the odds are against that, but you just never know. Daily Dan says, take a hollow point 44 round and some mercury from a real old thermometer, candle wax over it, and you will not believe the damage it will inflict. Michael says, that looks like a public hair suit. Yeah. Joe says, I sold them my pews. Public hair. Just mouse work. Had a couch with hair like that. Don't have made. I think I saw a bong in that case a second ago. It could have been. Who knows? Look after that hand, Jen. Was there a bad echo? I don't know why. There shouldn't have been one, but do female footprints have little flowers in the dermal ridges? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously they just claimed they were female. They probably don't. I mean, to me, I look at that, I'm like, is that even? Can you even call that a footprint? You know? Major echo. Sorry about that. Crap in a museum. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah, you're welcome, Mirthless. Thanks for coming. You too. Joe says, I can't believe this guy can say all that with a straight face. Yeah. Well, I mean, the suit was he said it was a hoax. You know, it's obvious. Everybody knows it's a hoax now. Donald says, I watch him. He's quirky, but has some cool videos. That's Carpetbagger. Carpet is just kind of interesting sometimes. Real lighthearted. Cheese Freak says, I had the honor of seeing the Yeti scalp and the Squatch hand at the Bigfoot experience in Georgia. I mean, but are they really, is that really what they are, right? Public. Yeah, I think he meant something else. Mr. Lee says, I'm gorging myself on eggs and bacon. Yeah, I had some earlier myself, Mr. Lee. I kept it mainly keto, Mr. Lee. Had bacon, eggs, a little bit of corned beef hash, which has a little bit of potato in it, not much. Sausage, steak, cheese, sour cream. I tried to eat some Brussels sprouts, but they didn't cook those damn things good enough for me. You need to cook the shit out of Brussels sprouts, or fuck off with them. Now they need like the ones at Red Lobster. You know, they have those baked. Like, yeah, tell them to leave the sweet syrup stuff off of there. But and they're you know, they're really well cooked on the outside, but I wish they were cooked more on the inside. But I had some of those yesterday with the all you can eat shrimp. I killed a lot of shrimp yesterday. Joe says everyone is invited to Lockbeards for Christmas, and we're having a traditional goose dinner. Yeah, he won't ever be eaten. He's, you know, like, because other Canadian geese come around here, and they seem to annoy him a little bit. But, you know, they all fly away, and, but, he never goes. He stays all winter out here in freezing ass cold and just deals with it. Like, he won't leave. So, you know, I guess he'll never feel like he's really part of a goose flock. So, yeah. Donald says you wouldn't want to hear what I just ate, anti-keto. Oh, man, you've been eating anti-keto? Mr. Lee, how much carbs is in about 2 tablespoons of hot fudge? Because that's where I went wrong today, probably. Just stuff in your face. A gaggle of geese. So there's this. I've never seen this movie, Hoax. Let me pull up the trailer too. Hold on a second. Probably gonna get a copyright claim on this bitch. So, okay, those of y'all that were here the other night, some of you left whenever the stream cut out. If the stream cuts out, it's going to come back in a couple of minutes because they'll just shut it down temporarily because of the copyrighted material. If they do it, I don't know why the hell they're doing this with movie trailers and shit, but pretty much all the copyright claim stuff I've challenged has been, for the most part, they overturn it, right? Because it is fair use, but Jen says I'm about to wander off keto for a day or two. No, Mr. Lee says too much. Well, you got a question mark there. That means you don't know. You don't know how much carbs is in hot fudge. And you need to know that, Mr. Lee. So let me see here. I'm going to go on a little diversion here. 1 tablespoon, 8 grams. So see, I had 2 tablespoons of hot fudge mixed with a big pile of sour cream to make something that's kind of like chocolate pudding, but it's made out of sour cream and a little bit of hot fudge. So 8 grams, Mr. Lee. So it was 16 grams, and that's well within the range for keto. So you have to accept it. You must accept it, Mr. Lee. All right, let me play this movie trailer here.
I'm gonna get to a stranger. Some kind of demented creature. Always on a hunt for intruders. Looking to kill, to devour, thirsty for blood.
TV producer. Team together to investigate what happened up there. This is Dr. Ellen Fries. She's our primate specialist. That's Peter Moore, renowned cryptozoologist. Over by the helicopter is Mr. Singer. He's on loan as security.
This undiscovered primate can come in many forms. Of course, there's footprints. Often there is a strong skunk-like odor. We should go.
It's walking upright.
You need a bigger banana.
It's right over there. There's something moving. I don't know what it is.
Hey, thanks for watching Staying with Horror for the
Yep. That's probably not a realistic depiction of Bigfoot, is it? Jen says, well, been doing keto for over 2 months. Not lost a pound in a month. Just annoyed. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I wonder, you know, well, you aren't restricting calories, are you? Because a lot of people, they do this and they try to restrict calories too. Absolutely do not try to restrict calories, especially if you go fully carnivore and you just get rid of everything. Like your carbs are going to be basically zero. You're not eating anything from a plant. Do not restrict your calories. You eat as much as you want. You want to feel like eating a big ass pile of bacon, go for it, and you'll be fine. Zero, douchebag. Yeah, but keto, you know, you keep it low enough and it's considered keto. I wanted some chocolate pudding. That's all I know. Zero, douche. What about the nozzles? Yeah, Mr. Lee. I guess Mr. Lee douches without the nozzle. Jen says alcohol. Really, Mr. Lee? You go to the pub, sir. Donald says, Mr. Lee, pot calling the kettle black. I remember you going to the bar with my doppelganger. No, he says. No alcohol, count me out, says Cheese Freak. Chessboard says, how does one eat alcohol? Very carefully. I don't know what these guineas be squawking out here. They're very noisy birds. Uh-oh, I see. You see what? Hello, cheese, says Mr. Lee. What else did I have? So has anyone seen Hoax, that movie? Well, there wasn't any echo in that, was there? Hold on a second.
Good evening, everybody. I've had a couple of people ask me about the different types of hives that we have here.
I don't know why that's playing. Joe says, Jesus wept. I have a serious case of the wind here. Think I just rattled the window. Michael says, guineas are a good alarm system. Yeah. Jen says, only getting about 10 to 18 carbs a day, no sugar. Yeah, you should be keto. You should be in ketosis. You seen that? Looks like an unrealistic depiction of Bigfoot. No, but little what? Lead. I don't know what you're talking about there. Well, Joe, that will keep Sally out of the man cave. I might as well bring up that cryptid picture because we didn't. I don't think Pat didn't bring the picture up and show it on screen. I do not believe. So I will hold on a second. So here it is. It looks like something fake as hell, but just a second. Bam. That could be a tree stump, a cactus, even a sorry excuse for a yucca plant. Is New Zealand going to start taxing animal farts? That's just ridiculousness. The earth has had vast herds of massive animals in the past. Most of our biggest animals are gone these days because they got wiped out by an asteroid impact about 13,000 years ago. So we probably have less animals farting, at least less large animals farting. And they want to tax your cows for farting. Can you imagine a blue whale fart? Man, it would probably kill your entire herd of cows. Whatever it takes, chessboard, whatever it takes. The ticks too. Yep, they do. Yeah, it's just some stupid shit. Just some stupid shit. It's okay to go to the pub, says Michael. You got permission, Mr. Lee. Grasshopper says millions of wildebeest still fart in Africa. The American bison were in the millions. Yeah. Yeah, and that's just the stuff we still have. 13,000 years ago, the bison were bigger than they are today. They've gotten smaller as a result of the issues. And while those bigger bison were here, there were bigger versions of moose. There were these gigantic armadillo things. There were multiple species of giant ground sloths. There was these gigantic camels. There were these big horses, as well as these the woolly mammoths and the mastodons, two different types of gigantic freaking elephants, and those gigantic woolly rhinoceros. There was all kinds of gigantic big animals, all I'm sure farting. And these douchebag governments trying to push this ridiculous global warming bullshit. They just want an excuse to tax you, right? If you follow the money with the global warming thing, you'll start seeing it's all about money. It's all about taking more control over your property. Taxation is always about taking control of you in one way or another. They try to say, we're trying to pay for this shit. If you want this shit paid for, you gotta get these taxes. No, it's like property tax, right? Property tax, basically they stole your right to own property. They call it property tax. Oh, you got to pay for this stuff. Yeah, if you don't pay the property tax, though, they'll come actually take your land. So you never owned the land, did you? The only way you're keeping your land is if you pay that tax. So you're basically paying rent on the land. if they can come take your shit because you won't pay for their bullshit, you know, what if you don't believe it? Like the people say, taxes pay for schools. Well, what if you don't have kids? And you're like me, you certainly don't have any faith in the education system. It puts out a bunch of goddamn morons. The smart people just, come through too, because that's just what the options they got. But it certainly doesn't do anybody any justice. And I certainly don't want to pay for government education. Maybe if everybody paid for their own kids' education, things would be a lot different. But you got government involved, and they screw everything up every time. Yeah, but it don't look. There's nothing conclusive to be made out here, though. I mean, it looks like it's holding a spatula in its hand, I think. Only if you let it be freaky. Jay says, "Hey, all you weird people! Hey, Jay's here. Welcome." Dan looks like something you would take, man. Jen says, "Hey, Joe, did you lend out the Wolfie suit?" He's in the pic. They're not shaped right. See, but if you now look at it, thinking, okay, that's a tree trunk, and where it looks like there's a division between, you might argue, two legs, that could just be an opening in the tree trunk. It's a hollow tree, has a dead spot there. It could easily be a dead tree. I'm thinking though, like looking at how like the stuff's kind of hanging down, this could be a kind of a ragged yucca plant. It could be a yucca plant. I can't get a close. It's just not very good, the picture. Yeah, it's not good enough that I can get a good enough look at it. But that could totally be a yucca. How much you want to bet we go out to this place, we can find that damn yucca? Where the hell is this at? Who wants to pay for the road trip? Because I ain't. Gas is a bitch, man. I'll go out there. I will totally go out there, wherever this shit's at. Well, I'll figure out what, because if it ain't something they stuck out there that's just flat out fake, this is probably a damn yucca, man. The werewolf suit is way better than that. Chasing too many fast kids in Texas. Spindly leg fella. A mushroom. That's a little big for a mushroom, but looks like a slingshot in one hand. Yeah, it could be a slingshot too. It's just a hoax, simple. Yeah, but I'm just wondering what the actual object is. If there's actually an object there, like if I'm right and it's a yucca or a tree or maybe a cactus or something, then it's probably going to still be there, right? Just a puppet. Yeah, but how do you know it's a puppet? Like, to me, this is inconclusive. It really is inconclusive. The only way to know for sure what it is to go out there and see if I can find this, right? Amarillo, yeah. Go, Lockbeard, says Mr. Lee. I would love to, Mr. Lee. Man, the gas is already killing us over here, man. I don't know how it is over where you're at, but the gas prices are just way the hell out of control. Let me see here. Amarillo. Yeah, it's a 6-hour drive for me to go over there. I mean, it'd be more ideal if somebody closer went. Joe says the legs on my wolf suit at least look like the hind legs of a canine. Yep. Life says it looks like the puppets used on the Muppets when they go full body. Gas prices will bring us down. Yeah, they're trying to crack us, man. They are so trying to break us. Donald says, looks like a poor attempt at a hoax. Yeah. I mean, it may not. It may be just that this is something on a security camera that is always there, and somebody thought, you know what? If I put this out there, people can't really tell what it is, and they're going to think it's Dogman, or some people have been claiming it's Chupacabra. There ain't no cryptid war, Mr. Lee. Gary says, looks like a doll that's possessed. Was that taken around Halloween? I don't know when exactly it was taken. It's just come out. It's Amarillo Zoo. Life says no dolls. Danny says the other phone died, so he had to jump on his other account. Later, chessboard. I'm getting ready to shut her down. We're 2 hours in, and I'm about wore down. No freaky deaky porcelain dolls. Nikki says, do people not see it's wearing pants? Maybe. I can't truly make out what I'm seeing here, but I think it could totally be a yucca plant. Or a tree stump, or maybe it's just a cardboard cutout somebody put. Who knows? It could be anything. It's just inconclusive. It's just a totally inconclusive image. It's about what, 4 foot tall? If you go by the fence, so kids' height. Yeah, it's not that big. Joe says I just has a flash of brilliance. I need to recruit someone to help me create a Dogman page and take pictures of me at night in my wolf suit, and I could charge $5.99 a month for a subscription. Yeah, the Zasky business plan. Pine says looks like Sonic from the Wii game. Yeah. How close is that to you, Nikki? She's El Paso, right? Or wait a minute, Santa Fe. I'm sorry. Is she Santa Fe? If she is, she would be closer than I am to Amarillo Zoo. Because it's about a 6-hour drive for me. I have my sword, my harpoon, and my claw hammer, and my knives. Yeah, Amarillo Zoo, Nikki. Well, they are, but some of them can grow this tall. Like it depends. There's a different species. Like there's even ones that get really tall, like they're tree-like. You know, there's different species, and like around these parts, typically they stay kind of low, but they can get up to like 4 foot tall or even 5, 6 feet tall, and they'll get kind of a trunk to them, and the leaves as they die, they kind of lay down. And so, like, if you look on here, like that could be like some of the leaves laying down on it if that's a yucca, and if it had a crooked trunk there. But I'm not saying that's, I'm not convinced it's a yucca, but it could be, and who knows? Maybe somebody went out there and did some alterations to it, chopped off a lot of the leaves to make it look like something. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know, Donald. Sounds like a nutter now. You sound like a nutter now. Yeah, Amarillo. You're in El Paso. So I don't know how many. I don't know how many hours that would be for you. Um, let's see. I'm done. And after hours, name that tune show tonight at Pine Island Research. When it comes to yucca plants, I won't suffer one to live. I like them. They are awesome. Stop watching Bigfoot Aussie now. Very upset you are. As you should be, Mr. Leeds. Yeah, stop riding that fence, man. What time? 7 hours. So I'm an hour closer than Nikki is, but that's still 6 hour drive. So 10 p.m. Eastern, Pine Island Research. Develop a deep hatred for the foliage. Well, So yeah, you're gonna be on in less than an hour. Maybe a carrot got wrong. What? Joe says, good night, all. I have to work tomorrow. All right. See you later, Joe. Thanks for coming. Daily Dan blog. Michael says, take care, Mr. Snyder. Harness those winds. Yeah. And we need to shut this sucker down, too. We've been on over 2 hours, so. And I've had enough. I'm tired. Thank y'all for coming. And yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, just folks, I just wish folks to stop riding the fence. When you find out, when you find out a channel is bullshit or whatever, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Stop supporting them. Stop accepting the bullshit artists just to play nice, or we got to get them away from the channels that try to keep it real.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
And God bless. Lurking, Lowrider, Lurking. Well, thanks for coming. Jen says, thank Conspiracy all around the YouTube streets. Thank you, Jen. Thank y'all. And I'll see you next time.